I don't know about you, but I always get really excited when we step into a new year. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the very first few sales of 2025. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I am a part-time reseller on a bunch of different reselling platforms like Poshmark, eBay. We're going to talk about some Depop and Mercari today. And when I am not reselling, my full-time job is actually teaching high school choir. And past couple weeks, I was on winter break and it was a wonderful time spent with like family and just being able to put a lot more time and energy into my reselling business. Maybe not as much as I would have liked since I did have like family with me, but one of the goals that I tried to do starting on January 1st was I tried to list 10 items a day. And I was like decently successful with that until I wasn't because school started. And it was just the reminder that I needed that I am many things. I'm not just a reseller. I'm not just a teacher. I'm not just a mom, but I am all of those things at the same time. And it's kind of hard to juggle, to be honest with you, just doing all of those different things. Recently, I have been trying out Magic Mind. I have both like the mental performance shot that you take in the morning, and I also just got sent the sleep performance shot, which is something that you take before you go to sleep. And these have helped me tremendously when it comes to basically like organizing my brain to be able to wear all of the different hats that I do. So with the Magic Mind that you take in the morning, what I like about it is while it's not like a caffeine replacement, it just almost gives like a boost to my morning coffee, and it just helps me like maintain focus. It gives you like a calm energy. And both of these products are made out of natural ingredients. They're doctor approved, but there's lots of like mushrooms and ashwagandha and lots of different vitamins. And in the sleep one, you have again like ashwagandha, lavender, other things that I can't pronounce, like L-theanine, I don't know if I'm saying that right, chamomile, lemon balm, just lots of really great ingredients that enhance your sleep. But for the first time ever, they do have a 24-hour pack, which is a bundle of both the mental performance shot that you take during the day and the sleep performance shot that you take at night. So you get a bundle of the focus and sleep shots for 45% off if you use my link, magicmind.com/BeckyPJan, Jan, like for January. And that's what's gonna help you get 45% off of your bundle of both of these items. But the combination of the two definitely has helped me just keep my focus as I'm shifting gears from like teaching to momming to reselling and doing all of the different things. This has helped me believe that it's possible to do all of those things and to do all of those things at a high level. So thank you Magic Mind for sponsoring this video. So again, links down in the description below, but let's get right into what actually sold for me this week. We're gonna start with the last couple days of December before we can get into January. But on December 30th, on Mercari, this was my one Mercari sale of the week, but it was a pretty good one. It was this pair of J. Crew Collection Essential Italian Viscose and Hemp Blend pants in a women's size 6. They had like a lilac plaid print to them, and the idea is that J. Crew Collection is a lot more expensive and of higher quality than regular J. Crew, and certainly more so than J. Crew Factory. That being said, even though it retails for so much more, I wouldn't say that it resells for a lot more. I think it still resells in the general same ballpark as what you could sell J. Crew for. Now, maybe if you find a J. Crew Collection piece made out of like 100% cashmere, that'll sell for a lot more than, a regular J. Crew piece made of 100% cashmere. But generally speaking, just having that word collection next to it, while it means a lot in the retail space, it doesn't actually do a whole lot more when you're reselling the item. So just something to keep in mind. But this was something that I picked up at a local consignment store during a 75% off tag clearance sale that they had running. And I got it at the end of September. So it was not listed for very long at all. And I picked it up for $4.50. This was also before Mercari switched back to the fee structure that they had probably like half a year ago. So in case you were unaware, and I do explain the changes in this video right here, Mercari tried this thing out where they got rid of fees for sellers. And so if a seller sold something, they actually kept 100% of the profit. So if they sold something for $40, they got $40 put into their account. What they did, however, in order to make that happen was they passed those fees along to buyers, and buyers started seeing that anything they were trying to purchase on Mercari was a lot more than they were used used to, because not only did they have taxes and the fees that they had started off with, but now they had more fees tacked on top, and it was just a lot. And I do feel like it had an adverse effect on buyers. And so Mercari did announce not too long ago that they are going back to something that resembles their old fee structure, where sellers will have to pay a fee, buyers still have a fee as well, but buyers are not having to shoulder the entire burden of all of the fees. So hopefully that means that my Mercari sales will go up, because while at first I didn't see much of a difference, people were still buying things from me on Mercari. In the past couple months, I have noticed a huge drop in Mercari sales. So I'm hoping that it goes back to normal. And when I say back to normal, I mean like 2 sales a week. That would be great. But these pants sold for $40, and because this was before they rolled back their fee structure, again, I had $4.50 into it, so my net profit on those pants was $35.50, which I was really happy about, and I did accept a lower offer on those pants than I would have liked, because I knew that pretty soon Mercari was going to be giving me seller's fees again. Also on the 30th of December, which was a Monday, on Poshmark, I sold this pair of J. Crew Factory, the Driggs, that's like a style name. They're this pair of gray chinos pants in a men's size 32 by 30. I put words like classic and office in the listing title. And I do think that these were flawed in that they probably had a lot of wear on the back pockets. And that's because these were my husband's. My husband wore these for years and years and years to work, and just kind of decided he didn't really want to wear these pants anymore. He has since then graduated to, is it those ABC pants from Lululemon? I think that's what he wears now. But these sold for $10, which I was fine with because we didn't have any money into them. My husband wore them for many years, and after Poshmark's fees, my net profit came out to $7.05. And then also on the 30th on eBay, I sold this pair of Dina and Aussie black leather wooden platform wedges. They had like a really interesting cutout in the middle of the wedge heel. They did have an ankle strap, and they were in a women's size 7. So these sold on eBay for $31.99. I believe that was my full asking price. I had purchased them at a garage sale in October of 2023 for $5. And so my net profit on those was $23.46. They were super interesting. Dina and Aussie, is that a brand that sold at Urban Outfitters? I kind of feel like it is. They were just kind of out there and kooky, and I figured, you know, they were something that I'd have to wait for a very specific buyer to come along and buy, but I'm glad that someone got these. I hope they're loving them and just getting a lot of use out of them. And then I had 2 Depop sales this day. Holy moly. I told you last week Depop has just kind of been steadily growing for me, which is insane because it used to be I'd get like 1 sale every 2 months over there, and to have 2 sales in one day, that was very exciting. So the first thing to sell, and this was a great sale because it flipped really fast, was this pair of Schutz, never know how to say it, Nicoli, I think that was the style name, metallic leather stiletto pointed mule heels. They were in like a pewter color, I would say, and they were in a women's size 8.5B. Those sold on Depop for $65, and that was exciting because I had just picked those up at a local consignment store just like a week or 2 prior. They were part of a 75% off clearance sale. I only had $5.50 into them, and after I paid for shipping, after Depop's fees, which Depop's fees are very minimal. Like, they do not charge the seller a lot at all when it comes to fees. And then once you subtract my cost of goods, my net profit on those was $48.91. I want to say that those sold within a week of being listed. I believe that they were sold at Free People actually. And I think that they're like a pretty recent piece at Free People. Like, it's not like this is from like 8 years ago. I have traditionally had a hard time selling the brand Schutz, just if it's like not associated with Free People, if it's through like Nordstrom or something. I've had a hard time moving it. It just usually sits for some time. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that it sold as quickly as it did and for as much as it did. And I started getting offers on those, I would say, pretty much as soon as I listed them, which is how I knew that they were really good and would probably sell really fast and for close to my asking price. So if you see those, definitely snag them. My next Depop sale of that day was kind of surprising. It was this Theory Gabe B, that was the style name, Taylor gray wool 1-button blazer in a women's size 8. These I got at a pop-up consignment sale in May of 2024, but it took me a while to get them listed. And the reason for that is because I actually purchased this at that consignment sale as a set with a pair of maternity pants by Theory. And when I got the set at the consignment sale, I remember looking at comps, and Theory maternity actually does really well, which is why I paid, let's see, how much were they asking? They were asking $20 for this set. So I paid the $20 because I was like, okay, I think I should be able to get like at least $100 for the set. But I just was kind of intimidated by the fact that it was a set, knowing that I would have to do some research when it comes to like Theory maternity. So it just took me forever to get around to listing it. And when I did finally decide, okay, I'm gonna list that stupid maternity set, I realized upon closer inspection that while the pants were maternity, the blazer was not. And so I don't think that they were a set at all. I just think that's just how the person decided to sell it at this pop-up consignment sale. So I actually went ahead and listed the pieces separately. And this item alone, I probably had it listed for like $65 or $75 or something like that. But I think I had a 25% sale going on that particular item on Depop. So it sold for $56.25. I'm saying that I had $10 into it because that's half of the $20 that I spent on the set. So I'm saying that I had $10 into this blazer, $10 into the maternity pants. And so after shipping, after my cost of goods, after Depop's fees, my net profit on that was $37.91. And I was just surprised because Theory doesn't seem like a Depop type of brand, but that's why I have slowly been expanding to listing other things on Depop outside of what I feel like are Depop-y things, and I feel like it's been working out for me. So if you are the type of person that only lists, certain brands or certain styles to Depop, I would say like slowly maybe start cross-listing some of your other items over there as well, just because you never know. Like, that was pretty surprising to me. I do still have the Theory maternity pants listed on all of my platforms if you are in the market for some maternity pants. And I think those were in a size 6 if I remember correctly, but patiently waiting for those to sell, and that's okay. Happy that this blazer sold. Also on this day, another eBay sale that I had was this package of new in the box Adidas Performance mesh engineered fit boxer briefs in a men's size extra large. They were multicolored. Those sold for $11.90 on eBay. That was an offer that I sent out to watchers. That was actually an international sale too. So kind of interesting that someone internationally would be like, let me get some underwear from the United States. And I don't think that they actually lived out of the country. I think they were on a military base. And if I'm not mistaken, they have to do international shipping. I could be totally wrong, but the address was somewhere in Illinois, which is why I'm saying that. But I didn't have any money into those because that was something that I got as part of a wholesale box from Reseller Supply Co. You guys have heard me talk about them a lot. I will have links for them down in the description below. But basically, it's a small group of amazing guys who buy a lot of wholesale and liquidation lots and sell a lot of those pieces for resellers who just like to source this way. They don't really want to go out all the time and find things at thrift stores and stuff. They like to just get high quality pieces sent straight to their home. A lot of it is brand new with tags, Adidas and Under Armour and brands like that. And so if that's a sourcing model that you're interested in, like I said, I will have their information down below. And I do have some videos that I've done at their warehouse as well as unboxing videos. I'll have those linked down in the description too. But this I didn't have any money into since they gifted me those boxes so I could show you what kinds of items you would get in them if you were to purchase them, and my net profit was $10.40. And then on Poshmark on the 30th, I sold this pair of Levi's wedgie straight high-rise button fly blue jeans in a women's size 26. Those I got at the beginning of November at a Goodwill about an hour and a half away while my students were rehearsing as part of a district festival that they qualified for. I didn't really have anything else I needed to do during those rehearsals, so I went thrifting. I picked these up for $12.99, which honestly at this point is too much to be spending on Levi's wedgie jeans and Levi's ribcage, I would say. I used to spend up to like $20 on them, but at this point they consistently sell for that like $25 to $35 mark. These sold for $30, and so my net profit was $11.01. At this point, I would say only spend under $10 on those kinds of jeans, but at that point I was like, I'll just get them because I feel like they'll be a quick sell. They were, and I made some money, so I was happy with that. So on the 30th of December, I sold across 4 different platforms, and that's because I cross-list basically all of my listings to those 4 different platforms. And that's because I use a Chrome extension called List Perfectly. List Perfectly is probably the reselling tool that I have used the longest since I started reselling in 2017. I want to say I discovered it in 2019 maybe. Basically when they first started. Like when they first started, I heard about it, I started using it, and I was hooked. And I love it because it enables me to get all of my listings on a bunch of different platforms. It will also delete active listings once an item sells. So if an item sells on Poshmark, and it'll end that listing on eBay, Mercari, and Depop for me, which is a huge time saver. It also will do things like share your closet on Poshmark. It's where I keep track of like where I sourced all of my inventory, how much I have into everything. It's got a great sales analytics feature. So there's a lot built into List Perfectly. And I would say it's especially good if you have like a reselling business, like you've got people who work for you and they also listing for you. Like it's really great if you are a multi-person team. But even for myself, I am the only person in my reselling business, and I love List Perfectly as well. So if you want to try List Perfectly, if you've been looking for a way to easily and quickly cross list from one platform to another, definitely try it out. They do have a free trial period where you can do a few listings, try cross listing a handful of items, see if you like the way that the Chrome extension works. But my coupon code allows you to save 30% off of your first month of List Perfectly, and my coupon code is just BECKYPARK. I will also have links and all of that stuff down in the description below, but it is a fantastic company made up of some lovely, lovely human beings. So definitely check them out if you want to have a day where you sell items across 4 different platforms. That's pretty cool. Moving on to New Year's Eve, which was December 31st. That was a Tuesday. On Poshmark, believe it or not, I actually sold another pair of those, the Driggs pants from J. Crew Factory. These had also belonged to my husband. They were like straight chino pants in a men's size 32 by 30. These sold for $15. I didn't have any money into them, so I made a net profit of $12. And I actually think that they sold to the same person who bought the other pair the day before. So, you know, I hadn't even shipped them out yet, but the guy, I guess, was like, let's see if she's got any more of these same pants in the same size. I'll just check out her closet again. And he found some because my husband had, you know, quite a few pairs. That was pretty cool. And it was just kind of crazy because those have been listed for a while. Like I think they've probably been listed for at least a year or so. To have them both sell within a couple days of each other, that was great. And then also on the 31st on eBay, I sold this Talbot's black long sleeve, and then there was like a tie at the wrist, I believe, but it was just like a nice long sleeve blouse or shirt. It was in a women's size small petite. I did put the word minimalist in the listing title. I remember being on the fence in regards to if I wanted to list this or not, because more basic pieces by Talbot don't tend to sell for very much or very quickly, but this actually sold very fast. It sold within a few weeks of being listed, I would say. I've had it for a while. I got it in June of 2023, but again, I just kind of procrastinated listing it because I didn't know if it was worth my time. But it did sell for $14. I had $3.85 into it because it was part of a reseller buyout. So my net profit was $7.84. And like I said, it's not like it was a huge sale, but it sold quickly. And for that reason, I feel like it was still worth listing. Moving on to January 1st. So we're getting into the new year. January 1st was a Wednesday. But on eBay, I sold this pair of Old Navy built-in tough 24/7 slim jeans and a men's size 30 by 30. So lots of like men's bottoms were selling this week. This was such an old listing. I got this in a ThredUp DIY rescue box during COVID, like while we were in shelter in place, I remember. I did a live unboxing of this particular DIY denim box on Whatnot, and I think I did like 2 shows unboxing the items, and there were still items left over. And rather than doing yet another show, I just went ahead and listed, you know, the items that were sellable from those boxes. And I made enough money from the Whatnot shows to cover the cost of the box itself. So everything after was, you know, just pure profit. So I'm saying that I didn't have any money into these. These sold for $15 and my net profit was $13.98. So Old Navy can sell. It just kind of takes a while, I've learned. And then on Poshmark, I sold another pair of jeans, but these were women's, and these were Rag & Bone The Dre. That was the style name. They were in the color Bradford Blue. They were mid-rise jeans. They did have whiskering right at like the waist, and they were in a women's size 28. These were not listed long at all. I got them on November 29th of 2024. It was part of a local consignment store's Black Friday sale. So it was 80% off of their asking price. So that means I only had $5 into these. They sold for $35 and my net profit was $23, which is great because my goal is to make a net profit of $20 on each transaction. Obviously, that didn't happen with everything that we're talking about in this week, but it happened with a good number of items. And those sold really fast, and that's what made me really happy. Moving on to the 2nd of January, which was a Thursday, I sold another pair of Levi's jeans on Poshmark. These were the ribcage straight ankle jeans, which, man, I kind of feel like these are not as popular too, or like they don't command as high of a price tag as they used to, but this particular sale was amazing. So these were in a plus size 32, and that might be part of the reason why it sold for as much as it did, but these sold for $60, which was my full asking price. Like I just got, a notification that I had a sale on Poshmark, the cha-ching sound went off on List Perfectly, and I was like, oh, I wonder what sold. And it was a full price sale on these Levi's ribcage jeans. So super happy about that. I had picked these up at a Plato's Closet in August. So they were listed for quite some time. They were part of a 70% off tag sale. I had $4.80 into them. And so my net profit was $43.20 on a pair of Levi's ribcage jeans. Very, very happy about that. Let me know how your Levi's ribcage and wedgie jeans are selling. Like if $60 seems like a lot, or if that's still the norm for you. I know that was kind of the norm for a while. I just generally feel like that's not so much anymore, but let me know. Let me know how Levi's are doing for you lately. And then moving on to the 3rd of January, which was a Friday, on eBay, I sold this Zenergy by Chico's rust-colored cowl neck tunic sweater in a Chico size 2, which is a women's size large. That sold for $25.99, which was my full asking price at that time. And I only had $2.99 into that from a local thrift store, but this is from October of 2022. So I had that for a long time, over 2 years, and I finally made my net profit of $18.28. I'm not quite sure why that took so long to sell. I probably had it priced a little too high, I'm guessing, but just thankful that it did finally sell. And then on the 4th of January, which was a Saturday, I had a pretty great sale on eBay. It was this pair of Steve Madden Caveat, that was the style name, gray leather distressed faux fur biker boots in a women's size 6.5. Those I got in May of 2024, which they were definitely offloading their winter boots because they didn't want to keep holding on to them. And they were part of a birthday sale. So I only had $2.85 into those because for that birthday sale, it's like you pay a certain amount for however much you can fit inside of a plastic bag. And my average cost of goods for everything that I got during that sale, and I think I got close to like 100 pieces, my average cost of goods was $2.85. Those sold for $55, which I thought was great, and my net profit was $42.47. I did share in this video right here, which talked about the things that I would do if I started reselling in the year 2025. One of the things that I shared is that I would buy off-season items because you can get them for so cheap. Like if you go in at the end of a season to consignment stores or even regular retail stores or thrift stores, you'll find that when it's the end of a season, so like this was in May, but even if you go like in March, they're going to start selling through things like winter coats and winter boots and sweaters and things like that at a hugely discounted price because they don't want to hold on to all of that inventory all spring and summer long. And I was able to score so much great like winter wear in May at that birthday sale. I had to hold on to it for a while, but I have the luxury of space, so I was willing to do that. And just a few months later, I was able to sell these and make a really handsome profit. So there you go. Also on the 4th, on Poshmark, I sold another pair of Levi's wedgie straight button fly jeans. Now, these were also in a size 26. They were high rise, and these sold for $34, whereas the other pair sold for $30. So like I said, I feel like these are typically selling in that $25 to $35 range now. These, thankfully, I only had $5 into, and so my net profit was $22.20. And I got them at that same Goodwill that I got the other pair, but these just happen to be a lot cheaper. Also on the 4th on eBay, I sold this Laura Ashley Petite brown paisley 1-button outer layer. I just put outer layer because I could not tell, like, was this a jacket? Was it a sweat? Like, I don't know. So I just put outer layer, which is probably the wrong way to categorize this, but it was in a women's small petite. That sold for $10. It was part of a reseller buyout that I did in May of 2023. So I was just looking to get rid of it. Laura Ashley is not particularly a very sought after brand, I would say, but my net profit was $8.57. And then the final day of sales that we'll talk about in today's video is from January 5th, which was a Sunday. I just had one sale and it was on Poshmark. It was this new with tags J. Crew Factory lightweight floral button-up shirt in the signature fit in a women's size extra large. That is something that I got from Reseller Supply Co. I didn't have any money into it. It sold for $25 and my net profit was $20. So let's go over my numbers for the week. On eBay, I sold 7 items for a gross sales amount of $215.71. That does include the amount that eBay buyers paid for shipping, because I do charge shipping on all of my items. And for those 7 items, my cost of goods was $14.69. And so my net profit on eBay was $125. On Depop, I sold 2 items for a gross sales amount of $121.25. My cost of goods for those 2 items was $15.50. And so my net profit was $86.82, which is amazing. That means on Depop, my average sales price was like 60 something dollars, and my average profit per item over on Depop was $43 and some change. I have been finding that I'm able to sell some higher priced items on Depop, which is again why it's quickly becoming a favorite platform right after eBay and Poshmark. I would say Depop is my number 3 right now, which I never thought I would utter those words, so that's exciting. And then on Mercari, I had one sale for $40. I had $4.50 into those pants, and so my net profit was $35.50. And on Poshmark, which was the winner of the week on all fronts, I sold 8 items for a gross sales amount of $235. My cost of goods for those 8 items was $27.79. And so my net profit on Poshmark was $158.46. So in total, I sold 18 items for a gross sales amount of $610.96. My cost of goods for those 18 items was $62.48. And my net profit was $405.78, which is a great way to end 2024 and enter into 2025. There were weeks when I made less than $100 in net profit in the year 2024. Here is to manifesting no weeks that look like that in the year 2025. Here is to net profits of $400 or more, at least $350 or more every week in the year 2025. That would be amazing. That just means I have to be really good about time management, and I think we can make it happen. We'll see. I mean, definitely subscribe if you want to see how I continue to do with my what solds in the year 2025 if we are consistent with making $350 in net profit or more in the entire year. If you subscribe and hit that notification bell, then YouTube will let you know every time I upload one of these videos. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful start to 2025. I hope your sales have been amazing, despite the fact that I know it gets really slow after that big holiday rush, but hopefully this is a profitable and amazing year for all of us. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.